Hi guys, hope you are having a great day. Ready for some drama I have for you today? Today I have one story and it's long, so listen till the end to hear some insights and OP's answers. This story is a crazy one about OP's daughter who married her sister's father, who OP's wife had an affair with. Yes, I know, very easy to get confused. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My wife, 60, and I, 63, have 7 children, 35 male, 33 female, 29 male, 23 female, 20 male, 20 female. I only listed 6 children because one child died when she was 3. She would have been 28. After she died, my wife and I got into our own deep depressions. I threw myself into work. My wife found other ways to deal with her grief. She started a short affair with a man. They broke it off when I found out, and I took her back. We decided to try to be a family again. But my wife found out she was pregnant with 23 by this man. I decided to raise the child as my own because the father was not ready to be a father. He was only 19 years old at the time. 23 always knew she was a little different. We all have brown hair, and she's blonde. But we didn't tell her the truth about her biological father until she was 18. She was surprised and upset, but eventually accepted it. I was always close to her, and even though it was rough for a few years, we're closer than ever. My other daughter, 33, started dating a man, Jack. This turned out to be 23's bio dad. Before it gets weird, keep in mind he and 33 are only 10 years apart in age, and he's closer to her age than ours. They eventually ended up marrying. Been married a year now. I'm only human, so I admit I did have a problem at first, but I've come to accept it. He treats my daughter well, and they have a lot of common interests. Eventually, 23 and I ended up telling the family the truth about her parentage when 33 started dating Jack. Everyone was weirded out at first, but did come to peace with it. The problem is my wife. Since 33 started dating Jack, my wife has yelled and screamed at her to break it off. I hardly see 33 anymore because when she visits, my wife starts shouting at her that what she's doing is wrong. Personally, I don't see anything wrong with it. He was a dumb kid who made a mistake. I haven't seen my daughter since Thanksgiving, and I told my wife I was going to play mini golf with her this weekend. My wife was furious with me. She was upset that I would not cut 33 out of my life, cut Jack out, spent time with 33, among other things. I told her she was being angry for no reason, and that if she has a problem with them, then it's her problem and not mine. She called me an a-hole and is not speaking with me. I'm sleeping in the spare bedroom. I wonder if what I said was too harsh. Maybe I should have supported my wife in her anger, but I honestly cannot see how her anger is justified. She's literally the only person who has a problem with this, and she's the one being aggressive towards our children and son-in-law. I tend not to agree with aggressive people. But what does everyone else think? I think OP is not an a-hole for several reasons. 1. There would be no awkward feelings between OP's wife and son-in-law if she had not cheated on OP. 2. OP raised a child that was a product of his wife's affair and raised her well and loves her. 3. It is none of OP's wife's business who OP's children marry. It's okay to feel a little weird about this particular person, but if they are treating their daughter well, are both consenting adults, and are both happy, then nothing else matters. 4. OP's wife has no right to want OP to cut his daughter out of his life. It's not OP's fault or daughter's fault that OP's wife cheated with OP on a young dude who ended up turning into OP's son-in-law. 5. No one in this situation has done anything wrong except OP's wife. Sincerely, best of luck. You are a better person than I am. The moment my partner cheated on me, they would be cut out of my life. And the moment a partner asked me to turn my back on a child, the partner would be cut out of my life. You sound like an amazing husband and father. Please, keep doing what you're doing. Since I do not want to respond to everyone individually because it would take too long, I just decided to take the questions that appear most frequently and answer them here. Did Jack know 33 and 23 are sisters? No, I don't think he did. He was young when 23 was born, and he signed away parental rights back then, so he probably never thought about us for years. For him, it happened a lifetime ago. Try to remember, he is in his 40s now. In the more than 20 years since 23 was born, Jack has gone to university, graduated, traveled, got a job at a museum, quit, got a job at a different museum, gotten married, gotten divorced, got a job at a college, and now, finally, got a job at a university. Not all at once, of course, but my point is, he lived an entire life in between the time he saw us last. How did 33 meet Jack? He came into 33's bank for an auto loan. 33 and Jack live in the same city, but about 20 minutes apart. Even though I called it a city, it is actually a university town because the population number does not qualify as a city. I live in a small town of about 40,000 people, so it seems like a city to people like me. Jack and 33 are both previously divorced from other people, so they probably bonded over their shared failed marriages. The city only between 150,000 to 300,000 people. I don't want to give more accurate numbers because it feels like I already gave so much info that people could try to track me down, though I don't know why anyone would want to. Why didn't Jack or 33 know each other was from social media. My daughter works in finance, so she is very careful of anything she puts online. She only has the basic social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, so it can look like she is socially aware to her coworkers and bosses. But she is not on social media all the time, and she is very careful of what she posts online because she does not want it to reflect badly on her or her profession. If I recall correctly, I don't think anyone except her brother, 35, is on her Instagram, and he is only in one picture. 23 is on social media, but because she is trying to build her professional career for years, she also is careful of what is on her social media. I think she has another social one, but she never puts her family, us, on there. So I really don't think Jack knew. He is an art history professor at the university, and my daughter works in finance. Does Jack remember you, your wife, or 23? Of course he knows us, but we do not travel with 33 anywhere. We are our own people. She was 29-30 when she met him, so she had her own life and career. Also, here is a list of the most common surnames in the US. We are at the top 20. I do not want to say which name it is. So even if he heard about Mrs. Smith or Mr. Jones or Miss Williams, obviously he is not going to think about us right away because our name is so common. His own surname is actually in the top 100. Also, I should mention Jack is not his real name. It is the name I gave him for this post. Does 23 have a problem with 33 and Jack? Yes, she definitely did early on. She was very upset and angry, but somehow she was able to work through it. I think because she is such a smart and mature young lady that she was able to get through it. Maybe it was the therapy. She and her sister came to an understanding, with no hair pulling. So I think that is good enough for me. Why did you wait until 18 to tell 23 about her parentage? To be honest, I wanted to tell her when she was 12 or 13 or 14, but her mother did not. And with parenting, it is a 2 yes, 1 no rule, so we had to wait until she was 18. I could not go behind my wife's back and do it, since that would be a betrayal. I know people say it is best to tell them early, but if I went behind my wife's back and it blew up in my face, I would have been paying for that for the rest of my life. Why didn't I tell the family about 23's parentage earlier? Because 23 asked me not to. She was 18 when she was told, and she said she did not want her siblings to know because she was afraid they would not love her anymore. As her father, I tried to assure her and let her know that is not true, but she insisted. We decided to get her therapy, and through that, she was better able to come to terms with it. She did not want to tell the family, but when she found out who her sister was dating, she asked that I and her mother and her sat down with her siblings. Her mother refused, so it was just me and her that told the others. She handled it really well. She was not angry, but she did cry a little, because it was a secret that she held on for years at that point, and it was now out in the open, in our family. All her siblings still love her, and she loves them, and I think that is the thing helping her through. Collectively, we all know, but Jack is only ever referred to as 23's brother-in-law or 33's husband. I think that everyone has made their peace with it. The only time it would ever come up is if either one needed a medical procedure or something. And since 23 is still young and healthy, Jack is only 43 and healthy, it won't come up. I don't think we're all hiding from the truth. We all know it and choose to move forward knowing it and not having it affect our already existing relationships with one another. Why did Jack and 33 continue dating after finding out? I think that is a question you have to ask them. I know that 23 and her sister had long talks about it, very long talks, and they have come to sort of a solution between them. I don't know what it is, and I really don't want to know, but I also respect that they are adult women and worked it out amongst themselves. I think even if I asked, I might be told to booger off. All I know is that they let me know that I am allowed to feel whatever way I want, but I can't force them to feel that same way. That's understandable, and I left it at that. Didn't I have a problem with 33 dating Jack? Of course I did. I'm only human after all. I went through a range of emotions that I don't really want to mention here. But I have come to the mindset that I am not really a part of my adult daughter's romantic life, and thus have no say in whom she chooses to date and subsequently marry. But believe me when I say whatever you guys felt, I also felt it too. How is my relationship with Jack? I will admit, this question is very tough for me to answer. I can't say we're friends, but I think we are friendly. He will probably never be buddy-buddy with me, because over 20 years ago, I showed up and asked him to sign away his parental rights, and he has admitted he still sees me as some tall, dark, looming figure from his past. But he treats me respectfully and at a good distance, so that is for the best in this situation, I believe. He calls me sir all the time and does not refer to himself as 23's father. He says he is her S donor. So the lines of familial relations are a little more defined. He is 23's brother-in-law, and that is the way they both see it. Nobody really talks about how he is her bio-father. Did 23 ever suspect she was not yours biologically? Only to the amount any kid would. Apparently, every kid goes through that. I even talked to a therapist that said every kid goes through that stage, and they get over it. But 23 looks like she could be ours. Me, my wife, our children, and Jack are all white. I have brown hair, gray now, and blue eyes, and my wife has different brown hair and hazel eyes. Our kids have varying shades of brown hair and blue, green, and hazel eyes. 23 has blonde hair and blue eyes. Jack also has blonde hair and blue eyes. But if you know anything about genetics, then it is possible for two brown-haired people to have a blonde child. So even if she suspected something, it was all explained away by logic. Not by us, just school and life, I guess. And also, my youngest daughter, 20, has what some would describe as blonde hair, a combination of blonde and brown. I don't get why that's not called bronze or something, but whatever, I'm not a hairstylist. So I don't care because it doesn't concern me. Does 33 look like her mother? Surprisingly, no. My youngest looks like her, but with different color hair. My eldest daughter looks like my mother. Rest in peace. It was always something my mother was so proud of because my mother used to be a beauty queen several years over. So she was so proud 33 looked as beautiful as her. 23 looks like my mother-in-law. Rest in peace. Except less mean and with blonde hair instead of red. My middle son, 29, also had red hair as a small child, but it darkened very quickly to the chestnut brown he has today. Have you or your wife ever had therapy, counseling? I have been going on and off over 20 years. My wife went early but stopped. When we decided to make it work, I made it a condition to my wife that we get at least 2 years of couples therapy. She went for 2 years and stopped when she felt it was fulfilled. She is of the mindset that therapy is for crazy people. I might try some other tactic to make her go again. Do you think your wife is still hung up on Jack? I highly doubt it. She was grieving, and grief makes a person do crazy things. I think if she did not cheat with Jack, it probably would have been someone else. Or maybe some other self-destructive behavior. Both she and I were on a self-destructive streak back then. My older children probably suffered from our physical and emotional absences back then. I have gotten them help and hope they are doing okay. Why don't I leave my wife? Because I love her. Sometimes I struggle with how she acts, but those times are not very often. Despite all the hardships, it is possible to still love someone. Why did I take my wife back all those years ago? People seem to think I automatically took her back, but that's not the case. I was ready and willing to divorce her and just move on with my life, but I had a newborn baby at home who needed me. I was the one who took care of 23 the most when she was a baby, because my wife was most likely suffering from postpartum depression. But all those months of being at home and caring for a newborn baby, a depressed wife, and my other children does something to a person that makes it difficult to walk away. So in the end, I chose to not punish my wife for the one thing she did wrong. I chose to still love her for a million of the things she does right every day. You are really zen and handling this greatly. Thanks for the compliment, but the truth of it is, if you had known me 25 years earlier, then you would not say that. I had a lot of help to get where I am. For the first 40 years of my life, I didn't really care much about other people, and I thought only about myself. My family suffered because of that, something I have always and will always regret. I only seem easygoing now because I had a lot of help dealing with my emotions. Try to remember, I am 63, and I think when people get to that age, they just become a little blasé about everything. But seriously, I was not as great as everyone believes me to be now. I could probably tell some stories from my youth that would make you think otherwise. But anyway, I hope when you are my age, you are all as zen as I am. This is made up, fake, a lie. Okay, you are entitled to your opinion, and I know it sounds so outlandish, but I have nothing to lose or gain by trying to change your mind. You either believe me or you don't. Either way, your life nor mine will be the better or worse for it, so it is what it is. But at least now, I can say truth is stranger than fiction.